So one of the techniques these big Wall Street tycoons use is called the LBO, and that stands for leveraged buyout. And essentially what that means is they acquire a company and they load that company up that they're acquiring with debt, and then they pay off that debt with the company's revenue. Well, that's exactly what we do as real estate investors. We're all doing a bunch of leveraged buyouts because that debt we take on with our rental properties is something I call self-liquidating debt, okay? The debt liquidates itself. I would hate debt if I had to repay the debt.
Sure.
But I don't have to repay the debt. The tenants pay the debt and inflation pays the debt.
And now, here's your host, Jason Hartman, with the complete solution for real estate investors.
The opportunity to interview Jason was such a delight and such a pleasure. This guy is brilliant. He's been doing it for decades. He's literally done thousands of real estate transactions in multiple states. He's got a podcast. He's a successful author, a real educator. So he was so much fun and fascinating to talk to. It was really an honor to get to do that.
So like so many entrepreneurs, my story is I had a problem of my own that I wanted to solve. I wanted to be a nationwide investor. And it was very hard for me to solve that problem. And I looked at how easy it was to buy stock or a mutual fund or invest in Wall Street. They make it easy. And I thought, why isn't there a company that can basically talk to people and say, look, here's a whole game plan. Here's how to build a portfolio, to retire on real estate, and to do it nationwide and diversify. And so I created this business, and I was the first customer. And then it went from there, and now we've helped thousands of clients do the same thing.
All right, so you're not married to any one type of everything's real estate.
Good question. So in the area of housing, there are a few options. Single-family homes, apartment buildings, apartment complexes, plexes, duplexes, fourplexes, that kind of stuff. And then mobile home parks, right? And that really covers the housing gamut. So my favorite, and the one that is most accessible to the most people, where the average person can just do it and do it well, and it's the most proven, is just the good old, humble, single-family home. I think that is the best asset class in America, if not the entire world. Understand something I call the RV ratio, or the rent-to-value ratio. It's a very quick rule of thumb. For example, you might not want to be investing in your own city where you live, because if you live in a city that is a more expensive city, whether it be anywhere on the west coast of the United States, the expensive northeastern markets, or South Florida where I live, those markets don't make any sense. The properties that make sense for investment are bread and butter houses, necessity type housing, okay? Inexpensive houses with good rent to value ratios. So for example, you want to get as close to 1% of the value of the property each month as you can. Now in this market, because things have been appreciating so quickly, and prices always precede rents, rents always lag. It takes a few years for rents to catch up, and they are catching up, but that's going to take some time. We're getting paid to borrow money. This is incredible. This is the
like how you light up.
I love this. It's the hidden wealth creator. Most people think they make money on real estate because the real estate goes up in value, but what really happens is the debt goes down in value. Inflation-induced debt destruction, it's one of the secrets of the wealthy. With rental properties, we don't even pay our own debts. We outsource that obligation of debt repayment to someone called a tenant. The tenants pay the debt. So quite literally, if they pay the debt and we're borrowing at negative interest rates, and remember, that example I gave was only based on the official rate of inflation. The real rate is much higher, which makes the deal much better, okay? So with that, we're getting paid to borrow and someone is paying our debt for us. It's absolutely incredible. This is what's called self-liquidating debt. Let's take this back to Wall Street for a moment. Remember in the 80s that all these corporate raiders became famous and the famous movie Wall Street,
Sure.
greed is good,
Greed
et
is
cetera,
good.
right? Yeah. So you heard about T. Boone Pickens, Carl Icahn, and you still hear about some of these people, and all these corporate raiders. So one of the techniques these big Wall Street tycoons use is called the LBO, and that stands for leveraged buyout. And essentially what that means is they acquire a company and they load that company up that they're acquiring with debt. And then they pay off that debt with the company's revenue. Well, that's exactly what we do as real estate investors. We're all doing a bunch of leveraged buyouts because that debt we take on with our rental properties is something I call self-liquidating debt. Okay? The debt liquidates itself. I would hate debt if I had to repay the debt.
Sure.
But I don't have to repay the debt. The tenants pay the debt and inflation pays the debt. So it's getting paid twice. Now, what other business anywhere in the world can capture 33 to 40% of someone's income every single month? Apple Computer doesn't do that. There is no business that does that except housing. Think about it. Every single month, your tenant is paying 33 to 40% of their income to you, the landlord. That's incredible. No other business can capture that much of someone's income as rental property. So it's a truly amazing asset class.
You're a font of knowledge. You have quite a few resources for us, don't
Yeah.
you? Can you run down some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main website is just my name, jasonhartman.com. And I have a YouTube channel, a podcast called The Creating Wealth Show. So the podcast or the videos are a great resource too. And then my website, jasonhartman.com.
Outstanding. Now, and you've been fabulous. You're wonderful, but I think, can we take a moment and bring the brains behind the operation
sure,
up front?
Yeah. Let's bring our best salesperson.
There we go.
Come here. And this is our mascot, our company mascot. This is Coco.
Hello, Coco. Thanks for coming. Thanks for letting us borrow Jason.
Yeah.